Autumn in Japan, a season of fleeting color, quiet air, and the feeling of time passing. For the Ukiyo-e master Utagawa Hiroshige, this was more than a season. It was a mirror of the human heart, a space where beauty and impermanence meet. Through his landscapes, Hiroshige transformed the way people saw the natural world. He took everyday scenery, bridges, plains, moonlit fields, and revealed within them something timeless, poetic, and deeply emotional. In this video, we will explore 3 of his autumn masterpieces: the maple trees at Mama, the Tekona Shrine and Bridge, from 100 famous views of Edo, Otsuki Plain in Kai Province, from 36 views of Mount Fuji, and Moon reflected in the rice fields at Sarashina in Shinano Province. Each of these works invites us into a different world: Edo's vibrant colors, the quiet vastness of Kai, and the moonlit stillness of Shinshu. Yet all share Hiroshige's revolutionary eye, his ability to bring the viewer inside the landscape, to make us feel not only the sight of autumn, but its silence, its breath, its passing. As we journey through these prints, we will see how Hiroshige's art was not simply about depicting nature, but about discovering emotion within it, a vision that would later echo far beyond Japan, inspiring artists across centuries and continents. Let us step into the floating world of Hiroshige, where autumn leaves whisper stories of beauty, memory, and change. Let us begin with a masterpiece where Utagawa Hiroshige's innovative vision meets the ancient legend of Japan. The maple trees at Mama, the Tekona Shrine and Bridge. This print comes from Hiroshige's final series, 100 Famous Views of Edo, a collection that forever changed the way the world saw Japan's seasons. And among them, this scene is pure autumn magic. The setting is Mama, a quiet area east of Old Edo, now Ichikawa City in Chiba Prefecture. It was famous for its stunning autumn leaves. But Hiroshige didn't just paint it beautifully. He turned it into a stage for emotion, perspective, and story, capturing not just a view but a feeling. When you first look at this print, what strikes you most is the closeness. Bright red maple leaves fill the foreground, right in front of your eyes, almost too close to focus. Back then, landscapes were usually shown from a distant, elevated view, but Hiroshige broke that rule completely. He brought the camera, so to speak, right under the trees. It's like he froze the exact moment a traveler stepped into a tunnel of red leaves. This wasn't just art. It was an early taste of cinematic composition. The diagonal bridge cuts across the frame, guiding your eyes deep into the distance. That's classic Hiroshige, turning flat paper into real breathing space. The red maples blaze in the front, the shrine and bridge rest quietly in the middle, and far away, Mount Tsukuba rises with its twin peaks. These 3 layers, foreground, middle ground, and background, create incredible depth. The contrast between the fiery red and the cool blue-green air makes you feel the crispness of autumn. This idea of close-up and deep perspective together, Hiroshige's visual magic, would later inspire artists in Europe, including Van Gogh and the Impressionists. But there's more to this landscape than beauty. Hidden behind the red leaves is a story, a legend of love and sorrow. At the base of the bridge stands the Tekona Shrine, or Tekona Reishindo. It honors Tekona, a woman so beautiful that she became both admired and cursed by her own charm. Her tale is one of the oldest in Japan. It even appears in the Manyoshu, the nation's first anthology of poetry. Tekona lived a humble life, but her beauty drew countless suitors. Fights broke out among them, and hearts were broken. Unable to bear the pain she caused, she said, "My heart may be divided, but my body is only one." Then, she took her own life by throwing herself into the river. The small shrine in Hiroshige's print was built to console her spirit. By painting it quietly behind the blazing red maples, Hiroshige connected 2 worlds, the power of nature and the fragility of human emotion. The trees burn with life, but behind them lies the memory of a tragedy. At the center of the print is Sugihashi, the bridge leading to Guhoji Temple. In Hiroshige's time, people crossing that bridge would enjoy the autumn colors while reflecting on Tekona's story. Through his art, we can almost walk with them, feeling the mix of beauty and melancholy that defines Japanese autumn. Utagawa Hiroshige's The Maple Trees at Mama, the Tekona Shrine and Bridge, is more than just a view of fall. It's a bridge between innovation and tradition, between visual beauty and ancient legend. Through its bold composition and emotional depth, it reminds us that every landscape holds not only nature, but also memory, history, and heart. That's the timeless genius of Hiroshige. Next, let us look at one of Utagawa Hiroshige's final and most daring works, Otsuki Plain in Kai Province. In his later years, Hiroshige took on a new challenge, as if responding to Hokusai's own series of Mount Fuji views. From many angles and distances, he sought to capture not the mountain itself, but the emotions it evokes. Among these, this print stands out as a masterpiece, a bold reimagining of landscape composition and a poetic reflection of autumn's quiet beauty. Let us uncover how Hiroshige breathed new life into the image of Mount Fuji. What strikes us first is the overwhelming sense of presence, as though we ourselves were sitting among the grasses of Otsuki Plain. Hiroshige sets the viewpoint unusually low, bringing the autumn flowers, Tsuki, silvergrass, Kikyo, bellflower, Ominayeshi, Petrinia, and Nadeshiko, pink, into close focus. It feels as if the artist invites us to crouch down in the field beside him, to watch the distant Fuji through a veil of swaying grass. By cropping the foreground boldly and rendering each plant in delicate detail, Hiroshige dissolves the boundary between viewer and view. We no longer look at the landscape, we enter it. In the foreground, autumn grasses sway, silver pampas, yellow yarrow, and deep violet bellflowers. Their colors speak softly of the passing season. Beyond them, a thin stream winds through the misty plain, drawing the eye toward the tranquil silhouette of Mount Fuji. The scene unfolds in three gentle layers: the blooming field before us, the veil of fog that hides the middle ground, and the distant, unshaken mountain that anchors it all. Through this quiet harmony of near and far, Hiroshige transforms nature's simplicity into serene depth, a moment where autumn's breath meets eternity. Hiroshige left out human figures entirely, perhaps because one is already there. You. You standing before the print are the traveler walking this plain. You push through the whispering grasses, step across the murmuring stream, and raise your eyes, to find Mount Fuji waiting quietly ahead. In that moment, you are no longer outside the frame. You are sitting within Hiroshige's world. In the foreground bloom the 7 flowers of autumn: yellow Ominayeshi, purple Kikyo, Nadeshiko, and the silver plumes of Tsuki. Since ancient times in Japan, to admire flowers has meant to feel the heartbeat of the season, the life within transience. Each flower carries its own meaning. Ominayeshi for modesty and gentleness, Kikyo for sincerity, Nadeshiko for tender love, Tsuki for the fleeting nature of life itself. Thus, this landscape is not mere scenery. It is a portrait of the human heart in autumn. Ōtsuki Field lay along the Koshu Kaido, the highway connecting Edo and Kofu. Travelers who crossed the steep mountain passes would emerge onto this plain and find themselves surrounded by autumn grasses, with Fuji rising serenely beyond. Exhausted yet moved, they would pause to breathe, and in that stillness feel both the vastness of nature and the fragility of their own journey. Hiroshige captures precisely that moment, when landscape becomes memory and travel becomes poetry. Utagawa Hiroshige's view of Mount Fuji from Ōtsuki Field in Kai Province is a fusion of innovation and emotion, a work that redefined landscape art through its daring perspective and its quiet empathy for the traveler's soul. It is a landscape not only seen, but felt. A place where the wind, the flowers, and the mountain breathe together in the stillness of autumn. Finally, we will explore an exceptionally poetic masterpiece among Utagawa Hiroshige's landscape woodblock prints. Moon reflected in the rice fields at Sarashina in Shinano province. The setting is the Obasute rice terraces, Tanada, in Sarashina, Shinano province, modern-day Chikuma City, Nagano Prefecture, a location renowned for its moon viewing since ancient times. This artwork, which captures the moon reflected in these rice fields, embodies two cherished elements of Japanese culture: the scenery of the moon and the rural landscape, deeply intertwined with the cultural context of the Obasute legend. How did Hiroshige manage to confine this dazzling, almost thousand-moon spectacle within a single frame? Let us delve into the composition and the profound depth of the story it conveys. The greatest appeal of this work lies in the magnificent, almost fantastical depiction of the Tagoto no Tsuki, or moon in every rice field, which permeates the entire scene. The image portrays a sequence of terraced rice fields arranged like stairs along the mountainside. Hiroshige painted this to suggest that the full moon's light resides within each and every one of these small paddies. It is quite literally the thousand moons spectacle, the moon reflected in every single rice field. The scene Hiroshige rendered is interpreted as a mental landscape, a Shinshu Fuke, or a representation that incorporates the passage of time or movement. By walking along the ridge of the terraces and changing one's angle, the moon appears to leap from one paddy to the next. Hiroshige prioritized this poetic notion, visually presenting the idealized desire of the viewer to see the moon in every field. The curvilinear arrangement of the terraces and the delicate colors used to represent the moonlight underscore the profound stillness of the night and the moon's divine radiance. Hiroshige skillfully uses perspective to create a sense of depth and vastness across the expansive, sloping rice fields. At the same time, he unifies the composition with the single motif of the moon, establishing a pervasive sense of calm throughout the work. This location was renowned as a spot for viewing the moon. The group who came here to gaze upon the beautiful moon seems to be a social gathering for a nighttime moon viewing, perhaps combined with a maple leaf viewing, Momiji gari excursion. Given their refined attire, they might even be ladies and attendants from a samurai household, adding a sense of elegance to the journey. It is a characteristic feature of Ukiyo-e that we can appreciate the vivid, bright orange and red autumnal foliage despite the scene being set at night. This technique allows the viewers to enjoy the colors as if under daylight. Pay special attention to how the autumn leaves are depicted. Their brilliant saturation draws our eyes to the right side of the panel, perfectly balancing the serene, vast landscape on the left. The artist uses this powerful contrast to convey the season's beauty and the warmth of human activity against the cool, lunar night. Sarashina is much more than a place of beautiful moonlit scenery. Underneath its charm breathes the ancient narrative of the Obasute Legend. According to the legend, a man from this region, driven by hardship, brought his elderly aunt or mother to abandon her on this mountain. As he departed, the relative recited this mournful poem, Waka. Waga kokoro nagusame kanetsu. Sarashina ya obasute yama ni terutsuki o mite. My heart cannot find solace. I gaze at the moon shining upon Mount Obasute in Sarashina. The song was so deeply sorrowful that the man was overwhelmed with regret and immediately brought his relative back home. Crucially, the root of this legend is often traced back to teachings that emphasize filial piety and cherishing the wisdom of the elders. A theme referenced in ancient historical records regarding tax exemptions for filial individuals. The moon in this artwork is not simply a beautiful natural phenomenon, it is also the moon of lament and the moon of memory, silently illuminating the stage of this poignant tale. Hiroshige's depiction of the ethereal Tagoto no Tsuki under the veil of night effectively layers the themes of natural beauty and the deep human affection concealed within the legend. Utagawa Hiroshige's Moon Reflected in the Rice Fields at Sarashina in Shinano Province is an extraordinarily emotional masterpiece, fusing the physically impossible thousand-moon composition with the profound cultural and narrative depth of the Obasute Legend. It stands as a definitive example of an artwork that fully expresses the Japanese mental landscape, the belief that the moon reflects in every single paddy. Hiroshige's maple leaves reflected the world as seen through Edo eyes, a vision where nature lived alongside daily life, and the passing of seasons echoed the rhythm of human time. But as Japan entered the Meiji era, that vision began to change. The encounter with Western realism and the search for a modern Japanese spirit gave birth to a new kind of landscape. At the center of that transformation stood Yokoyama Taikon. His autumn leaves no longer depict nature as seen, but as felt. A landscape not of observation, but of contemplation. In our next video, we'll explore Taikon's Autumn Leaves, a work that transforms the tradition of Edo into the soul of modern Japan. Stay tuned for a journey from Hiroshige's world of sight to Taikon's world of spirit.